Well, crap. It happened. We missed one. I bought these two out of here. I learned an important lesson here. I thought that I wouldn't get like totally screwed over again with only 3 rituals and then bad layout. I'm kind of asking for it. I did do a good map with good numbers here, but I didn't proc the precursor. I mean, everything that went wrong basically went wrong here on this one, and paid the price. Hey guys, what's up's new here? We are bringing you a big video today, a perception versus reality on ritual farming high tier, high value omens. Omen of whittling, sinestral, dextral, you know, those omens that are crazy rare. Some people say they're totally non-existent, and I've been doing this a little bit on stream and off stream, and I'm pleasantly surprised with the setup that I'm using and the kind of results I'm getting. I think many of you will be a little bit taken aback by how often these omens show up. And by the way, this is taking place before the upcoming 0.2.1 patch, which is, I quote, you will see more, sorry, how does it go? You will see rarer, oh, I don't know, I can't remember, sorry, I can't remember the quote. Something about you'll see the rare omens a lot more common. Way more common, I think. Way more often. Maybe that was the phrasing that they used. Anyway, it was quite the claim. So I think this is another golden opportunity to do a sort of before and after. And I've kind of wanted to get into ritual farming because I find this to be one of the most intriguing farms with the Atlas choices especially. It seems particularly well balanced with a lot of variety, slightly different setup that you do, and unlike, you know, Breach or Expedition or Delirium and just about anything else, it's not just more number good for things like precursors and stuff. No, there's certain benchmarks you're trying to hit because of the whole tribute, favors, and re-rolling system. You're trying to hit like benchmarks, which means you're trying to keep like a certain window of balance in there. It makes it really interesting then when you have like precursor procs and what prefix versus suffix, 25% more effect. It actually changes the dynamic of, you know, every single map. Really, you need to pay a little bit of extra attention, and trying to set up a good, well-rounded farm is quite the intellectual exercise. Actually, like using, you know, cherry picking exactly what you're doing with the certain tower setup you have. It's really interesting. I find it to be quite enjoyable. Particular strat that I'm using right here, when we look at the Atlas, it's probably not anything like what you've used. You know, reinvigorating sacrifices is a very intriguing, notable, and I'm deciding to use it in certain situations. I'm actually going to be switching my Atlas here and there, like every other, not every other map, but every few maps, depending on whether or not I have a big omen needing to defer or not. I will be switching from this one right here to basically taking the 2 points out of From the Mist and reinvigorating sacrifices and slamming them into Spreading Darkness and Promise Devotion when it's time to start deferring. But these huge amounts of favor that I'll be getting, or tribute, is going to serve me well when I don't have anything major to defer. By the way, when you start deferring a bunch of things, it starts taking away from other different drops and stuff. So this is a great setup for if you just want to buy things outright and still have plenty of favor to go all the rounds. And we're going to have a lot of rounds to go through because this is definitely a high-end variation of this farm. So that's the Atlas, and the target is naturally going to be the high-tier omens, Omen of Whittling, Sinestral, Dextral, and then Divine Orbs. It's obviously a Mirror of Calandra could potentially show up. There might be some really valuable uniques to show up. We have a chance to look at some of the rares. You don't get tiered rares in there, but I mean, every once in a while, like jewelry or something will show up. I might check it, or maybe a spear. Oh yeah, and level 20 gems might show up. Other unique precursors, things like that. But basically, all the loot that I get, virtually everything of value, will be coming from inside omens. Because again, it's not a magic find farm, so I'm not paying that much attention. Didn't care about rolling for rarity or anything like that on these waystones. As for the setup, when it comes to waystones, this is what they look like. Now, I will have already come out with a video talking about a sort of updated way I'm rolling maps, and one of those ways is for ritual maps, because I've started to get into ritual farming. I quite like it a lot. And basically, the priority here is global pack size. If not that, then magic pack size, increased magic monsters, rare monsters to some extent, increased packs of other types of monsters is really good. And I basically just want at least two of 2 or 3 of those. And so obviously I can fit 3 prefixes. Maybe one of the prefixes is a dud, maybe not. But yeah, basically that's how it's set up. And you'll see there's a lot of tier 16 maps on here, and that's because I'm giving extra special care to get every single map that I run to be area level 80 plus, because I don't want to miss the opportunity, given how much I'm investing in this, to do that. You're going to understand that a little bit better when we talk about the tower setup here in a moment. But let's move on to the precursors. I'm only doing 3 towers, by the way. Another thing that might surprise you a bit. It's going to be more replicable than, you know, a typical quad tower setup. However, I am being pretty picky about the 3 tower setup. I want it to be in a really, really nice area. That's sort of the luxury of just going for three towers instead of 4. And again, with the tower setup, we'll kind of explain why I'm focusing on 3 as opposed to 4, like you would think you would typically go 4. But I'm going to be using a Visions of Paradise. This is something you don't often see with ritual farming, maybe. But I'm going to be doing it because I think I'm a huge believer in super high stakes, high-end farming, and just being able to do your maps twice is pretty insane. And so even though you take 1 hit on 1 precursor value there, like it's obviously taking away from a different role, it is going to be really great because I can just stay in that area. And I don't have to chase towers as much because I'm going to get as much bang for my buck as I can out of that area that I'm farming. Also going to use Freedom of Faith, which used to be an overpowered, or even bugged, or poorly designed tablet that just allow you to reroll indefinitely. Does not do that anymore. Twice the reroll is still extremely potent. And I'm using one of these, which is also very expensive. These are 3 very expensive precursors. Even the magic one here. Ritual altars in your maps allow rerolling favors in additional time. Probably the most expensive magic precursor in the game right now. And then the fact that it's pack size 2 is on there. And don't worry, that is being accounted for in the investment. So this is the primary central tower. It is just packed full. I mean, my God, this is like 8 plus divines in 3 precursors right here. Now, for the other ones, they're a little bit cheaper, although I do have a couple of these magic ones because they just happen to be available, and there's a little bit of a market there. I see an opportunity to get a bit of extra omen chance, but it's not... that's just kind of the more number, bigger, better. It's not the important number here. The important one is actually re-rolling favors. I want to have at least 1 of those rolls on both of those towers, and that way I can sort of re-roll indefinitely without too much trouble. And we're going to be rolling like 10 to 12 times, I think, depending on how things proc. And then we have deferring cost reduction. Okay, deferring cost reduction, we're going to want a couple of those. Actually, I have 2 of those as well. So I have 2 deferrers, 2 re-rolls, 1 additional time, and then 1 bonus omen one that would come in either way, because I use a grand project to get around to the other side and be able to leapfrog, because I'm trying to protect the area that I want to farm with as little time and little maneuvering around the atlas as possible. Keep all those maps open because we want all them open for Visions of Paradise. And by the way, grand project helps slam a bunch of irradiated in there with Visions of Paradise. So between the leapfrog effect and the additional irradiated, which helps cover the ground there more, I think it's a really great... I mean, it's always been a terrific combo. I mean, whether I'm doing breaches or if I was doing even like expedition or cleanse map farming, I mean, this double tablet is just so good because you can just leapfrog straight to the other tower with skipping all the other maps that you would have to path to otherwise. Here is the tower setup. All right, so 3 towers right here. You can probably tell this is the one that's going to be super important. Now, I cherry-picked this tower because... yes, there's a lot of water, and one of them is surrounded deeply by water. But this one here, man, if I can do each map double, that's something like... there's something like 70 maps in here, in this one spot, which is insane. Or something close to that. And so I'm doing 100 maps. And this is all on the record, and it's probably the only case of any content creator you're going to see have like the entire... well, maybe not the only one, but one of the only content creators to actually post their VODs on Twitch. It's in the description of the video. You can totally scrutinize it. We're going to see all 100 rituals done right here, right in this area. Maybe you have to go a little bit outside, but I want to be able to do 100 maps with at least 2 towers connected for each one that I do. I don't know if I'll quite get there. I'll probably get really close, though, even with just this 2-tower setup, which is pretty insane. And you can see a lot of these maps will be within 3 towers, and they will be very premium maps for sure. The left tower is sitting real nice. I'm definitely going to like that one. And so I'm going to put the grand project in here. which I've gone around the backside because I can't get over here yet. So I was put the Grand Project in here, and then leapfrog to here, put Visions of Paradise in here, and then, you know, keep them separated the way I had. And that's going to work well for the towers. Super simple. I mean, this is like, most of you probably have an Atlas with something like this. You don't see 3 towers this close all the time, but getting 4 towers this close is crazy rare. You guys know that. Getting 3 this close isn't so bad. Even with a crap ton of water everywhere, it's fine. It'll be okay. Okay, a couple things to show you here. Investment costs, we have, I actually have a breakdown of it right here. So I did double check before starting the stream today. Visions of Paradise is almost 3 div. Freedom of Faith, which is this one right here. Okay, this Visions of Paradise. Freedom of Faith is 2.5 div. Grand Projects, you can get about 5 for Divine. The rare precursors, each about 3 div. You can't necessarily go out and buy these all the time. Again, if you can't buy these exact ones, you'll just probably get at least 1 reroll and maybe 1 omen, or both reroll in this case. You can decide for yourself. And the magic precursors are, you know, not all that expensive, a little bit, but there's really just one that's crazy expensive. This one's actually about 3 divines, or even 4 divines at this point. Maybe if you count like the double pairing of pack size and yeah, but anyway, this is approximately the price that I, you know, had to pay for each of these. Map rolling is really cheap. Okay, map rolling is really cheap because unlike, you know, Magic Find maps, I'm able to just slam like Guilt on there, Instilled Guilt, which is super cheap. I don't need to be using like a bunch of omens, exalted omens and val omens and stuff. It doesn't really matter. I just needed some pack size magic. There's so many different mods that are good. Just 2 out of 3. Prefixes to be good, and then slam a bunch of them, hit T16s if not, you know, floating tons of waystones. So it really doesn't cost much. I think I'm actually overestimating how much I spent on these maps because they're kind of, a lot of these are just next to throwaway maps, but they're just really good for ritual when you do that. So the total investment costs 17.5 div. All right, guys, so that's it. We are ready to start. We're going to kick this off, and I can actually put all 3 towers precursors in right now. And we'll begin by running the center tower. Alright, so we start with this one. And this is going to have Grand Project. One of these. One of these. Okay, we'll go ahead and put the 3 towers in this one, or 3 precursors in here. Jesus Christ. This amulet went hard. Maybe lower rolls, but man. Nice. Vine orb.
I'll not say no to that.
Well, that might count. Omniphobia might have been locked in here. I think he was, probably. Aww. Nope. Feel gimped compared to other builds? Well, I mean, some builds should be faster than others. Like, I will always go as fast as they let me, so I'm always going to play a speed class. Alright, we got one reroll. And, bam. We're still trying to figure out what's going on here. I'm not getting as many rerolls as I can. 4th map here. I've already got Sinestral Erasure locked in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't see anymore, actually. One. Bit of whittling. Still dealing with problems here. 2, 3, 4. I won't even make it. 5, 6. Yeah, see, I only got 6 rerolls. It's kind of confirmed. Should have got another one. Alright, quick update here. In case anybody didn't see it, probably not in the highlights, I went ahead and swapped over because I now have 2 big omens I'm trying to defer, so I want the defer discount, which is right here. And I always want to have 4 here. I think if you're in the middle of deferring things, it's probably best to have Promise Devotion. If you take this, and you're probably not going to go all the way up here and do that whole thing. Anyway. Also, I was apparently mistaken about how many rerolls I was supposed to get. So, I was trolling you guys. I was trolling myself. I apparently forgot how many I was getting, or I Joe Biden'd it, basically, I guess. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, we have ritual altars and areas allow rerolling favors 3 additional times. Where does this number come from? It comes from 1 on the Atlas, and then it comes 1 from the precursors, which we talked about. Then it says, so it should say 2 additional times. It says 3 additional times because it procced from this. 20% chance for double effect precursor tablets on your maps. So this time it says 3. And the number of rerolls will be 1 by default, plus this number, which is 4, doubled. So I should have 8 rerolls, I believe. Wait, is that right? Now 8 sounds too high now. Yeah, because I have 6 rerolls normally and 8. I thought it was 10. I thought it was 9 and 11. Or wait, no, I thought it was 8 and 10, but it's actually 6 and 8. 6 or 8. Okay, so let's find out. I got Omniphobia killed in the first ritual, so I got a huge amount of favor. So we'll defer. And you can see inside 3, the tribute is knocked down, especially if you have dupe precursor effect. Tribute is very cheap, and defer costs are quite cheap as well. Total defer cost 81 tribute. And this is why you want to switch over to, because now, especially with the dupe precursor proc, it is just utterly dirt cheap. And honestly, like, I could buy chaos orbs as they show up as well. But I'm just going to defer like everything I can, because the defer cost is just crazy. Actually, I'm not going to, because I should just buy it outright, I realize. Because I will actually be able to afford the rest of them there. So, in this case, I should probably just buy it. A decent strategy is just to defer it forever, but if you know that you can make it through the entire round with my tribute cost and the reroll is so cheap, then you should just buy it. Now, this one, you should probably defer because I want to see the last round and be able to afford whatever it is. Actually, no, that was a mistake because, again, remember the defer cost is almost nothing. So even if it was a huge omen, I probably could have afforded it. But anyway, yeah, I think, well, let's find out. Let's find out, I think. 'Cause I can reroll this, and even if it's something huge, that's fine. Unfortunately, I forgot to count, but that should be, I should have seen 9 screens in total for 8 rerolls. And yeah, either way you cut it, I played my cards right. I got both of those omens out, and we're hitting the ground running. Actually sitting lucky at the moment for how many I've found, I think. 2 big omens found and secured. Alright, so we have a situation that's happened again. Hidden Grotto, bad amount of stuff, and then also only spawned 3 rituals. This is kind of worst case scenario where I have to pay a lot, but this it would have been kind of similar anyway on the reroll cost if I'd done the other spec. And I would have probably, you know, naturally, sometimes with the other spec you only get like 2,000 or something. So I still come out ahead here, I think. What I'm going to do in this case is I'm not actually going to spend a defer fee. I don't really care that much about Audience of the King. And I'm just going to spend everything I have on rerolling. I'll go ahead and defer this, I guess. I'll almost certainly be able to buy it next time. Okay, now I would have been in trouble if I'd hit a big omen there at the end, but, you know, we got to see everything and verify. At least for science, did not get an omen. See that? Power charges 3. Frenzy charges 5. Endurance charges 3. You know what that does? You know what that does? That is 13% more skill speed, 18% more defense, 21% more crit chance. Passively. Boom, buy that. Buy that. Alright, you know, I'll defer that. This is one of those mid-tier ones. I'll even buy that. Just play a fun build when you chase towers.
Now we're talking.
Haha. Well, I did get a somewhat rare omen this time, but it's the double and null omen. Not a very good one. Not very good. Bro, that's like actually decent. What the hell? If this hits top tier accuracy, it'll actually be really, really good. Oh, top tier mana. Wow. I think that's kind of good. Perfect implicit too. What about this? I don't know. Whoa, shit. Okay. Jesus. 1% away from perfect. Whoa. Rip multi, bruh. Who is this guy? This guy can't be stopped. Can't be stopped. What's next? Flat ES. Oh, flat man. These slams are crazy, dude. I'm crazy slam. Crazy slams. Can't tell me that's not fun. That is visionary. Visionary gameplay. That's what that is. I figured it might get fixed and then I can't even make a video on it or be redundant. Let's see. I think I can afford. So this is the interesting thing that happens when you only get 3 ritual spawn on a bad map, is you're kind of forced to skip refers, which sucks a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. So I can still kind of see all the things, like right there. Wow, look at that. See, I made a really smart decision. I think, you know, part of me felt really compelled to start deferring this stuff, but that would have been a mistake. It's only 8:37, so I still had a lot left, but you can see that that was clearly the right move in this case. Still have another reroll. Wow. I just kind of want to see everything. For the sake of science, I reroll. Not the smartest thing to do there, but, you know, for the science of it, I want to get as many rerolls as I can. Only 3, huh? At least I can. The discount is less than the fur cost. That's funny. What's the other one? Ah. I'm glad I didn't spawn this one first. This one's terrible. Example of like seepage getting screwed over. Getting screwed on seepage. Well, crap. It happened. We missed one. I bought these two out of here. I learned an important lesson here. I thought that I wouldn't get like totally screwed over again with only 3 rituals and then bad layout. I'm kind of asking for it. I did do a good map with good numbers here. But I didn't proc the precursor. I mean, everything that went wrong basically went wrong here on this one, and paid the price. This is the first omen I've ever lost, ever, since doing rituals. So I got a Sinestral annulment, and I'm not going to be able to get it. So it's missed. But we'll track it, so we did get to see one. And, yeah, I believe that's... only missing 2, I think. Probably is the worst one. So after all 3, I only end up with 3,100, and I have 9 looks at this. I literally can't see everything, even if I do nothing with this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I got 7 looks at it. Oh, lucky. Level 20 uncut spirit gem. That's at least 10 chaos. Because I bought a few to get my level 21, 20. Dude, so yesterday, I corrupted like 15 level 20 Herald of Thunder. I failed all of them. I went down like 9 times. Or not, no, like 7 times out of 15. I ended up having to just buy one outright for like an extra 4 div. It was crazy. I could not get it. I spent so much currency getting a level 2120. It's so bad. Like, buy that. Another whittle. Fine. Fine. Yeah, I feel like my identity probably ought to be a build maker, especially these days when so many like build making content creators have given up on it because of the backlash from the community on making builds. There used to be a huge amount of backlash in the community on making currency earning strats, which is exactly the time when I started doing it. And ironically, right around the time when, back at that time, like 5 years ago, the community was very healthy around build create. Like anybody could make a build and people were cool about it. They loved it. But now, hey, we got the level. Nice. All right. I'm getting more tanky, guys. Yo. Oh, I got that endurance charge, don't I? Wait, no? Oh, I got the... I see. I got the shrine. I was like, damn, that one passive point gave me 2,000 ES. Holy. No. Not quite. Yeah, so at that time, build creation used to be really just something that people loved doing, and everybody shared their ideas, and everybody was cool, and, you know, even if the build was kind of so-so, it wasn't that big of a deal. But then I guess the community turned inside out a little on that, and yeah, I got level 97 now, right there. And ironically, currency earning guides are less scrutinized than they used to be, and build creation is way more scrutinized than it used to be. And at the same time, I'm ironically, I mean, I feel like my identity is, I don't know if it's shifting. I still do a lot of currency earning stuff, but becoming more balanced, I guess. Less all-in currency earning stuff. I find myself enjoying the build creation process more and more over time. I think it's kind of natural as you just get more familiar with the game. What the hell? This is going to be like record-breaking tribute. This map. What? I'm going to be able to buy anything I want. I hope I spawn like a bunch of chaos orbs. I'm going to be able to like buy a freaking... a mirror just straight up. Buy it if it just spawned in the first window. Imagine a mirror of Calandra spawned in the first window and you just buy it. Holy. But I should probably defer it in that case. On principle, right? If you guys saw a Mirror of Calandra in the first window and you were able to just buy it outright, would you buy it or would you defer it? I can't believe you guys. No way. You gotta be trolling. There's no way you guys... There's no way anyone wouldn't buy it. I'm saying you actually have the tribute to buy it, hypothetically. Oh my god. 10,000. No way. I don't believe you guys. Alright, we still only get 7 looks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. That's such bad RNG, dude.
Wait.
14,000 nearly. Oh, I don't know. I guess I'll buy that and that and that. Yeah, and that too. Sure. That and that. Buy it all. And we're out. That's why it feels good to run this version of the build sometimes. You just like buy everything. You don't even need to worry about deferring it anymore. Do you need any specific items to play this build? This version? Yep. You need these gloves. The Sanctius Sanguis, which are very cheap. This shield, which is very cheap. And that's it. You just need a bunch of ES gear with accuracy, preferably. And yeah, you get ES and accuracy everywhere you can. Headhunter is not required. It's just luxury piece. Energy shield, accuracy, resist attributes. That's all you gotta do. You don't like need crit on the gear or anything. Oh, sorry, I forgot one more. Spirit. Actually, the spirit roll is kind of important. Else you gotta drop an aura, which isn't the end of the world, but a little bit bad. What? What's this at? hit this. That's the opposite of 550 accuracy. Me just hitting that. That's 550 accuracy opposite. Why do I always do that? I roll tier 1 life regen on every one of these items. Okay, at least I didn't hit like some godly... I mean... I was waiting to hit flat ES like crazy. Anyway. Oh my god, what in the world? Yep, well, have fun. Oh look, I got 12,000 ritual power. Mine. This would be a great time to just hit the crazy omen. Just buy it outright. Or a mirror. What is up with... On this base, you would. Oh. Oh, nice. I almost didn't catch this. Hell yeah, dude. We have freedom of faith. That's a couple divines. These are the least rippiest rituals you'll ever see. On a character that can move this fast and kill this fast, for sure. I'd say. Now the outer map area can be a little bit dangerous, but not too bad. Oh wow, random divine. I forgot those exist. Not even magic finding. Look, a wild divine orb. This new fine's a wild divine orb. See, look at all the volatile plants coming in here. Sheesh. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my god. I can barely do it. No, I mean, no better than barely. We have finally found an omen, a high omen. We just had the most insane dry streak ever, like 55 maps without a high omen. After seeing them like once every 6 maps or something. I got like once every 6 maps and then 55 maps later. Whoa. That's why we do 100 maps.
I need a moment to prepare. The wind howls.
Six. 7. You need... Fine. Just buy it then. It's gonna be like that. That was easy. Oh, cool. What did I say? Get like 4 of them in 5 maps or something. Two maps later. Another whittling. Now three maps later, so would be the most balanced version of my build. Because actually not Giga Glass Cannon. Got something of a tanky edge to it. Do I think GG should slow down the pace of PoE2 more? Yeah, probably. Yeah, at least as far as like the accuracy or attribute stacking, whirling slash Tempest Flurry, they do seem problematic in that they're outliers in how much they allow players to move. So they're probably gonna like nerf the core skill lateral ability or something, or cap it or something. I don't know. Raise the cap on it, lower, change the cap anyway. Mistake. That worked out extremely well. I deliberately ran a really good map on a great tile set, a great setting to get like crazy high tribute to just slam out all that stuff right there. I think I'm ready for the initial part of the recording. Alright, so here's the results, or the aftermath at least, for this farm. All 100 maps done. I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed with the second half of the session, really. Only got 2 whittling omens and nothing else major, aside from a couple divine orbs. But I've decided to pull all of the noteworthy items off to the side so you can kind of see them as they stand. A lot of you might disagree with the decision to pursue, you know, some omens like this, Omen of Greater Annulment, Audience of the King. They're kind of high tribute cost, high deferral cost, with not that much value to acquire. And this was, I mean, for the most part, fairly risk-free with me going for these. They would, in some cases, take up a little bit of a slot, but I never had like a huge screen full of all kinds of different things to defer. At most, I was deferring like 3 active things at once. And it was because I was running this strat, this really did pay off. I actually really liked how this went. It was my first time doing this in sort of a systematic way, going for reinvigorated sacrifices and from the mist. I talk about this in the intro. And what it meant was, in the event that I only spawned 3 rituals, usually it was still enough to kind of see everything if I just playing the skip game. But not necessarily with like a super high-end omen coming at the end. That would have been problematic. But for sure, if 4 rituals spawned, then I not only had enough to see everything, enough to get a high omen at the end, but I also had enough to just kind of buy things outright. In some cases, like some of these Audiences of Kings and Greater Annulment, and maybe, you know, even a Divine Orb or whatever, or I think maybe even in one case, one of these whittlings, I just bought it outright because I ended the 4th ritual round with like over 10,000 tribute, and I'm not going to need it. I'm not going to need anywhere near that much to get to the end. It also allowed me to get a whole bunch of things like the Sinestro Alchemies and Ameliorations, so I have way more of these sorts of omens than I would normally, or the Omen of Corruption. You know, at this point, a lot of you probably just skipping these completely, and that's fine, but you are leaving some currency on the table if you are skipping them for nothing. And in some cases, me doing the maps some of the maps I did and the way they turned out, I would just be leaving them for nothing. There's literally no risk to just buying these as they show up when you have, you know, a 4 ritual proc with enormous amount of tribute. So I highly recommend going that route if you have good maps. you need them to be rolled pretty high with pack size and stuff, but yeah, I thought it worked out really nicely. And I kept thinking, is there a situation where if I went the other strat, would I have been better off? I can't really see that. I don't know. I'd be curious to hear you guys' opinion on that. But anyway, enough of that. We are going to end up liquidating all of this, of course, and we'll get down to brass tacks. But yeah, I just want to point out this was the these are the high tier omens. Only 6 were found. Oh yeah. Don't forget to do this. And now I'll bring your attention to one other major screen. This is something I don't usually do, but today I am actually making a spreadsheet for this. PoE2 100 maps, ritual farming before and after, 0.2.1 before and after. I decided to track the number of favors seen. This would be the number of ritual favor windows that I see, not rerolls. All rerolls plus 1 per map, if you want to look at it this way. Next column is favors missed. I am able to anticipate exactly how many favors I should have. It was either, I should either see 7 or 9, depending on if I get the precursor dupe proc or not. How many whittling omens and other rare omens would be sinestral, dextral, the really expensive ones. And then divine orbs, just because, you know, I mean, but somebody might care about divine orbs being tracked inside. So we can see that most of the time is 7 or 9 with usually very few misses, occasionally misses. I had one really, really bad map where I actually missed a major omen, but it is count at least for the sake of seeing it. And this spreadsheet will be linked in the description of the video, so you can look at it if you want. And then of course I'll update it on the right hand side once we get to the second round. So you see I saw a total of 654 favors, for, you know, an average of 6.54 favors per map, and that was the kind of investment I got. We went over the intro, so you can see how I was able to get so many. As far as misses, basically 1 out of every 5 maps, I missed 1 favor where I didn't even see it. This doesn't count having too low of tribute to actually afford something at the end. I erred on the side of just seeing as many favors as I could for the sake of science. But anyway, that's that ratio there. And I did miss 1 huge omen, for the record. We have 5 omens of whittling. Okay, for, I guess, a 5% chance to get an omen of whittling per map, according to my data here. And then 2 major omens aside from that, and then 4 divine orbs. I'm under the impression that all of these numbers are lower than they should be, actually, at least a little bit. And this is based off the performance of a previous 100 map session I did, not for the record, but we did it on stream. And I got, I believe, 9 major omens in total, and like 6 or 7 divine orbs out of rituals as well, on a lower performing setup, mind you, with me being less refined at the strategy. So this was actually underperforming, I feel. Or I've just maybe overperformed a lot on the other one. Anyway, 6 omens were obtained, 7 were seen, and the omen chance is 100% every map because of the Atlas passive. And then I had 2 towers, each had an additional major omen roll. One of those 2 towers had 2 omen rolls. And so I would estimate the average amount of percent omen chance seen was at least 150%. Probably somewhere between 150 to 170% increased omen chance to be seen. That would be my estimate there. So anyway, that's kind of the data on my end, and that's it. We're just going to liquidate all this stuff. I'm going to do what I usually do now, this kind of new system. So dump tabs 23 and 24. I'm going to start off at 10 divines. I don't think anything in here particularly is worth 10 divines. Of course, I will liquidate omens through anything I can do through the currency exchange. I'll do it that way. And one of the first things I'm going to do, probably one of the first smart things to do in this case as I lower this over time, is to start by crafting the jewels, because some of them could turn out to be crazy valuable. More likely than anything else. Then we'll get on to like corrupting uniques and stuff like that. There's some profit. Rabbit.
Hey,
Now what about this chanced tangle tongue? I gotta go back and buy one of these. Sold them too quick. Oh, no, I don't want two on that one. I wanted it to re-roll it. No, 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 no. So bad. It's not even worth trying to sell for any amount. Down to 20 chaos. Yeah, I thought this was actually worth a little more, but maybe not with this bad roll range. 14%. Yeah, I got Forked Spear to turn into Tangle Tongue today, 1 for 1. Fucking goated. Six quant, 5 monster density. Nice. For 8 chaos? Sure. Look at these deals I'm giving out. Holy. Now then, liquidation is done. We have gone through the whole currency exchange, given it a little bit of time on trade, knocked all the way down to 5 chaos, but everything that is left over, in case you care to. Some precursor sales, obviously. Some of the things that are easily worth what you think they are, like level 20 spirit gems. But at any rate, we have the numbers here. The investment cost, to remind you, 17.5 divines. It's mostly precursors. There we go. You can see it here. I have everything that I've liquidated into pure gold, so to speak. 47 divines. A little bit more than that, but about 47.3. Net profit 29.8. Divines per map 0.3. And it took about 10 hours to do this. I think it was a little bit faster than breach farming, because breaches, they take some time to do, and you spawn multiple of them often. So I guess ritual is a little bit faster. Only died 3 times in 100 maps, so that made it indirectly faster than maybe normal. And did not brick any maps, but I did brick a following map. I didn't actually brick any maps I was doing, just kind of like losing the irradiation on 1 or 2, I think. Then div per hour 3. Okay, so 10 hours to do 100 maps. That puts the div per hour around 3. So that is the numbers. That's what they say. And I will now give my final thoughts on all of this, which is to say, really enjoyable farm. I mentioned in the intro why I like it. It's cool, the whole dynamic of like trying to figure out how much tribute you're going to have and anticipating what you can get away with, if you can cut corners, if you can buy king invitations, or if it's a bad idea, should you defer it, buy it, should you skip it. Getting bit real hard for trying to cut corners sometimes, but often it pays off. Like, it's just a lot of give and take there. I think one of the big takeaways though is, given how expensive the omens are, probably should just skip everything, because I noticed a lot of things I was buying, it's just a tiny drop in the bucket compared to one big omen. So it's not really worth risking, I suppose, hardly ever. I'm talking about like the prefix omens, maybe king invitation, double annul omens. They're worth a little bit more, but when I counted up like all of those double annul omens and king invitations, it was only like 2 divines. So I don't know, like that's like 20 different items that I may have risked a little bit, not being able to get a bigger omen for. Just to remind you, I did miss a big omen, so we saw 7 and we missed 1, took out 6. I did this farm before, which I'm sure it was at least slightly less efficient, less skill, or less lower performance on my end in terms of handling tribute, favors, and all that. And I got 9 big omens in 100 maps off the record. So this time I only got 6. I don't know if I got really unlucky this time or if I got just pretty lucky last time. But that's what makes me look forward to seeing the results coming next time for the after to see what the state of all those omens are. I guess according to my own community, it sounds like I got a little bit unlucky, but nothing crazy. So yeah, I guess that's the best I can give you as far as reality versus perception. I got a little surprised this time on how few of those big omens. So 100 maps isn't, 100 maps for 6 big omens isn't like the greatest sample size in the world. 1,000 maps obviously would be pretty good, but I don't want to do 1,000 maps in the current early access, so I'm not going to do that. But I don't mind doing 100 at a time, so this is about the best I'm going to do. But again, we will return and do this after. And yeah, we'll see. We'll also pay close attention to that omen market. Apparently it was, crashing a little bit and then it's going back up again. So it's back up to where it was before. So who knows what's going to happen. I have a feeling target farming omens right after the patch comes out will probably be a pretty good idea. So you might want to set up a nice little biome area that's good for ritual. Nice 3 tightly packed towers. 1 for a really good Visions of Paradise spot. Don't need any cleanse zone. Don't need... waters around's fine. Yeah, I think that this farm can be tailored to a specific type of layout that is a little bit different than like the most optimized breach layout or something. So that's kind of nice. It's nice to be able to catalog alternate farms for certain areas in the Atlas, which I think is one of the major takeaways, unspoken takeaways for how the endgame is set up to actually diversify farms and take advantage of the layouts in Atlas that you have a little bit in that way, rather than just going all in with one specific farm. So that's going to be it for the video. This is Ritual, first time ever. We will return for part 2 next time after the patch. In the meantime, a lot more videos coming out, and evidently we got some Path of Exile 1 excitement going down the pipe, so I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing with that, but probably something with it. It looks like there's going to be a little bit of a convergence in schedules here, as we've just found out that the PoE2 patch got pushed off a week. So that's going to be a little problematic, but I don't know. We'll see. Just playing it by ear. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy your ritual farming. Good luck. Hope you have better luck than I did finding those big omens. And don't forget to keep a little bit of tribute back when you do. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.